Hello, welcome to the Traverse Mod Spotlight. I'll be covering this in a similar way that I did the Biomes of Plenty Mod Spotlight. This is kind of the best mod for Fabric. Biomes of Plenty is the best mod for Forge with regards to biomes, and that's because the loading is much better, and I know the development is much sturdier, much kind of more than the other biome mods. So you can see here we are in the autumnal forest, and this adds a bunch. You can see if we look at REI here, we can see that we've got firs and we've got autumnals. So they're the only sort of things that are actually added with regards to that. So you can see just various different types of tree here in the autumnal. Well, they're all birch, but various different coloured trees there. So let's go back to our locate biome command, and actually we did miss the Arid Highlands before we went here, so let's go check that one out quickly. So yeah, kind of desert. And does this still count as Arid Highlands? See, probably not. No, this is just straight up savanna. So it interacts with savanna. It's just a small, almost like a sub-biome with savanna, I guess. Pretty similar to desert. Let's just check over this area as well. Yep, so we've got rabbits there. And we were at the autumnal woods, but I guess we should check out the hills as well. It's pretty fairly close by. It looks like, yeah. Again, it looks like a sub-biome of mountain biome. Cliffs even. Oh no, so it's not. So it's kind of interesting. Just a way that it sort of goes into this biome, I guess. Let's maybe look around the corner a little bit. It's really cool. I did some different chunk loading, by the way, on the shaders, which kind of quite like it. So there you go. You can see how it sort of quite seamlessly merges. Well, not seamlessly, but it doesn't. The transition looks pretty good. And then we have cliffs, which I guess we don't need to do now because we've literally just seen them. Let's go to the Coniferous Forest at this point. Is this an origin valley? I think it might be. Oh, it's a meadow. Very bright grass colour. Let's go down a little. Here we can see Coniferous Forest. It's going to be the firs, right? Yep. We have an outpost here. That's pretty cool. That's pretty good in terms of where that's loaded. The whole structure is pretty much intact. I think it is completely intact actually, so that's pretty cool. Sometimes that can be an issue. But yeah, really, but you can just see, I guess because I played with a lot of these mods, and sometimes the transitions don't look as good. But it really looks, you could tell a lot of work's been put into this mod, which is really cool. And you can just take a look around the Coniferous Forest. We have a little, like a small hollow hill. And, well, it may not be hollow. I'm just using a Twilight Forest term there. And then we have like the banks, which are, yeah, you can see this is still the Coniferous Forest. So very, it's not just, I mean, that looks great, right? That's a great panorama. And this is going from plains into, yeah. Even if we go here, really, really awesome that. You can see we have this is a pretty cool overhang as well. So some cool stuff there. Yeah. And you notice that the performance is not really, like in some of the other mods that I play with on Fabric, performance just start to dip, but it's not dipping here at all. And, oh, you know what? I think maybe I was at the hills here. But yeah, really cool though. It's really cool when you have the hill, like it mirrors like this, you know, like swamp hills, or I'm trying to think, is that the only one that has a hills variant? It mirrors that anyway. I think there may be something else. It depends how you look at it. So many different biome names, right? But that's certainly one. We have the desert shrubland. This was sort of, you could sort of imagine the Biomes of Plenty was the, there was one called the Xeric, beginning with X, shrubland, which is kind of, maybe not in Biomes of Plenty at the moment, but it is, it sometimes is, sometimes isn't. Desert shrubland doesn't look too different from arid shrubland. Again, it's one of those, but I guess this is desert shrubland as well. So I guess it has its own blocks that look, maybe take on some of the savanna features, but interesting that but you can definitely see the gradation anyway. You have a river into the desert shrubland. And I guess like it doesn't choose the base block. So the base block could be sand, it could be grass. It's really cool. I'm curious if there's any other some sandstone, of course. You are just a regular skeleton. So yeah, you normally expect to see, I guess you expect to see strays there, but maybe not. We have some, that's beach. All right. So that's pretty cool. And again, we're seeing like some interesting formations as well, like this. They really help to break up this sort of landscape. Moving on, we're going to go to the high coniferous forest. We may again already seen this. I'm not sure. Certainly a lot of always get it wrong. Lilac, yes, okay. Don't worry about that. It's a running theme if you happen to watch some of the other ones. Always get it confused. High coniferous forest. Definitely a transition between this is a regular forest, I believe. That's Birch Forest. Not sure, yeah, there's not really a huge amount of differences there. Birch Forest with bees. Interesting. Why did I think it was oak trees only? Maybe there may be something to do with that. What I'll do at the end actually is just seeing that made me want to just check the changelog in more detail. At the moment, I didn't really check the changelog. So if you go to the end of this video, I'm going to check the changelog, and if I find there'll be certain things that I didn't include. Really should have done that now I think about it, but oh well. It's good just to check the biomes. The biome list is not that long, so this won't be like the Biomes of Plenty video that was like an hour and a half long. We're going to go to a Lush Swamp. But even though the biomes list is not that long, they're very well realized, the biomes. So it's like, you know, you maybe get less, but it's quality. So that's how I see it anyway. So the Lush Swamp, very bright colour here, and looks pretty cool. Obviously that's going to transition, we can see we've got a transition with an autumnal forest into a regular swamp, I believe. Are we still in Lush Swamp here? No, we're still in Lush Swamp. There is a regular forest back here though. So yeah, so the transitions are pretty, go pretty far back into this forest here. Alright, let's after the Lush Swamp. We have already seen Meadow. We'll just check out Meadow quickly. It's quite nearby, it looks like. Yeah, we can imagine meadows always tend to have daisies in them. Plentiful cows, chickens, and I think just everything, right? I do think the amount of bees has been ramped up because I mean we've also got tulips here. Yeah, we're definitely going to be looking at the config here, so I will do that, like I say, at the end of the video, because there's a lot of new stuff here. But this is the sort of the scenic tour before the more sort of technical stuff. Now we have the mini jungle. So mini jungle, you can see we are, what biome do we have here? This is Woodlands. If we can close that. So we're adjacent to Woodlands. We sort of look at the perimeter here. Woodlands looks like it has a, you know, the horizontal logs on the ground to indicate fallen trees. It's kind of an interesting thing to do. Because obviously, like if you wanted to like encourage plant life in like a garden, you would want to have like rotting wood, right? That's seen as like a thing that you do, right? So yeah, the mini jungle. Not so many actually, because we're still in the mini jungle before we head into the plains over here. I guess it is kind of small in comparison with normal biome size, and there's nothing to indicate that there's any. I mean, we do have bamboo there, which is interesting. I wonder if that only exists at the higher level. It might. There's not much bamboo there. Let me just go right to that bamboo just to see if there's anything. Nope. It's just there. It's just there. Okay. So it must be a pretty low percentage chance of that coming. The Plains Plateau. So pretty extensive in terms of the plateau is high though. So it's a plateau at a higher Y level, which is pretty cool. Looks like we've got some. This is something which I noticed in some of the 118 snapshot features, that sometimes if you had like plains next to a river, they basically choose whether the river spawns or not. This looks like there could be a river here, right? You can look at the way it looks. It looks like it could be a river. I wonder if it actually counts as a river. No, it calls Rocky Edge. Interesting. That is pretty interesting. Very, very cool though. Okay, so, well, you know, it's good when they're next to each other alphabetically. Then we have rolling hills. So you can see there's a really like I love the biome names, to be honest. They're so good. What is up with the rolling hills? That's so, wow, the transitions are so long. Is this just all rolling hills, maybe? Yeah, we're all in rolling hills before we get to cliffs there. So this is cool, right? This is a large area. We can see a Y level. If we say the Y level here is 0, we could say the Y level here is like -1, -2, -3. So that kind of grading, I mean, that makes like a minecart journey, for instance, something which you would really think about quite substantially. Again, we're seeing a large amount of bees. But yeah, I really like the chunk loading as well. If any of you are interested in how I actually did that, I'll just briefly show you that as well. It's not really related to this video. It is in, I think it's in, no, where is it? It is here, world, distant fade, spherical. That's what you want to do for that one. It's not the default, but it actually looks much better to do chunk loading like that. I have a feeling it also might be slightly more better performance, but I'm not sure about that. So there's rolling hills. Now we get to the snow side of things. So let's have a look at that. The snowy cliffs, probably not going to look too dissimilar from the regular cliffs. It's difficult to make. I mean, yeah, but they're steep, and also having like the yeah, it's quite regular in terms of the diagonals here. That to me suggests that it's probably very, very performant. Because if you have to do huge calculations to work out that, or if you just say, you know, I don't know how to put it, but like, you know, you just have for each Y level X equals Z or something. It's something like that. It's pretty performant. Like I said, I don't really know this stuff. Oh, it looks so good. It might just be the shaders, but how cool does this village look? This just looks awesome. I mean, the village is about to be completely covered in lava, but there's a great village. To have that backdrop of that, you imagine that you could put like a huge, I don't know, you could make one of those, you know, when people make those massive nether portals, this would be an ideal spot for that, right? Such a cool place. Look at this. The way this is spawned is amazing. It's really good. Really interesting looking, right? So really like that a lot. That's probably the best. Was it? Yeah. And it's not just a one-off. It's not just I've randomly happened to have like found that. It's just like really interesting transitions all over the place. All right. Snowy cliffs. I guess we've got a few snowy ones to do. Let's just we'll go through these a little bit quicker because I would like to get to the section where we look at the change logs and just so I can read through things, just see if there's anything notable. Snowy Coniferous Forest. Let's just breeze through these a little bit more quickly now. Snowy Coniferous Wooded Hills, which we're basically at. Yeah, I think you sort of get the idea at this stage as we the high coniferous forest. Doesn't mean we're not going to do all of them though. Snowy high coniferous forest. Again, really interesting. I think I like it because it's like in terms of traversal, it's like, yeah, you have to go up and down cliff faces, but once you're there, you tend to get like a plateau. But because you have like this sort of thing, you know, it's very simple to like say to go from this point to that point to do a bridge over that, so you don't have to go down, right? And that was the high coniferous, and then finally we have the wooded areas. So we have the wooded island. That one looks like this might be an interesting one actually, because we're having to travel quite a far distance for this. Let's have a look at this. Is this it still? Or where are we at here? This is the wooded island. Yeah, I think this is the wooded island. We just spawned right on the outskirts of it, maybe. This looks like maybe a more experimental thing. Yeah, there's a lot of. I'm not sure what to make of this. I guess this must be. I think maybe this is like literally an island just surrounded. It's hard to say though. I think it is though. Or do we go somewhere else here? Go to a river here maybe? No, you know what? I think this is actually completely self-contained. No, well, no, we don't want to go to any other river and ocean. We sort of understand why we'd go there. But I have a feeling this whole island is large. So that's really cool. That's actually really cool, right? As long as it is as long as like the rules are only spawn right in the middle of the ocean, miles away from any other land. But I'm not sure that is the case. But this sort of constrains the other biomes to being. It is the case, isn't it? That is 100% the case. This is completely self-contained. This island. Let's actually. Maybe we can actually see the whole thing. Going to go up to a point, and then we're going to just bump up. Yeah, we'll do that at this point. Let's just go massive. Like I said, I wouldn't do this with a different mod, but with this sort of mod, it's a bit easier. It's big. It's big. Can we get the whole thing in the picture? Let's see. We're close. There we go. Looks like Australia. How cool is that? All right. But again, you see the performance, just next level. Part of that is I'm not going to overstate the case. Part of it obviously is on Fabric. If I was running this on Forge, it would still run about 10 frames a second. But it's just what you sort of get, right? Then we have the wooded plateau. Yeah, I may not do the extra bit where we talk about the stuff in the configs. Yeah, I think you know what I'm not going to do. This is the wooded plateau, and finally we're going to have. There will be stuff in the config. Was that it? And finally Woodlands. We actually saw that one already. Yeah, I'm not sure there will be things in the configs in terms of the spawning. There may be different rates of ores, different plants. But I think this is actually quite a good way to end the video, actually, now I think about it. Just to have like a self-contained thing like this, because we've seen some pretty cool stuff. So, until next time, thanks for watching.